Oh boy, what a way to begin. Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out MUSHA running on the MegaSG. The enemy ships have all been destroyed, sir. They were just scouts. Are you picking up any enemy radio messages? No sir, nothing on the radio or radar. Okay, let's head in low and fast. How can you expect the 5 of us to attack this massive enemy armada? Shut up, Greg. All you ever do is complain. Stop this chatter. Only with a small force do we have any chance. Target sighted. 30,000 meters. This base is known to have a powerful air defense system, so stay alert. Wah! Lieutenant Emilio! They can attack from that distance? There's no hope. Here comes the second barrage. There's no escape. Ah! Leo Mago! Great Commander! Red Leader, look out! They're attacking again. Is the firepower of this base unstoppable? Ah, Red Leader, I am hit. I'm telling it now. Yeah, this mission is a failure. Retreat. That won't do, Red Leader. We can't help our people by running away. I'm going in. Wait, Terry, this is an order. Retreat now. Don't play hero. That's a completely different game, hero. What am I going to say to our advertisers? Alright, let's see here. So, the funny thing about Musha is that, you know, it's a famous compile game, right? Compile, the makers of, you know, the Aleste series, Star Soldier, lots of really great games. Puyo Puyo, which was a weird one for them. Lots of great games. But when Musha came out, it was not really all that well received. You know, I know that for me, I was the only kid on my block, or probably in the neighborhood, that owned this game, and really nobody ever talked about it. It was not something that was all that well received or liked. But you know, as the years have gone by, I think people have started to appreciate Aleste for what it is. And now the price of this game is ridiculous, right? But, you know, I got in very early, and really, I was one of the few people that was really interested in this game when it was released. I mean, like it was like a Game Pro favorite, and you'd have some commentary every once in a while from one of the folks on EGM, but yeah, I mean, not a lot of people cared about this game, but now it's something that people look for. Really, all these compile shooters are amazing. Yeah. Of course, people remember compile for some of the greatest works, like Space Megaforce and Blazing Lasers. You know, the later Star Soldier games on the PC Engine. So this is somewhat of a gem. You know, definitely an underappreciated gem, along with was it Nabanagan's Ninja Force? I forget what they call it in the States. Robo Aleste, I think that's the name of it. Again, you know, about these, very early on in the life of the, or well, I guess when I finally got a Genesis, and before anybody cared about collecting Genesis games. And, you know, I really enjoyed it. Although, that doesn't mean that I'm actually good at this game. It's very, very challenging. And you know, you have to play this game consecutively for quite a while before you get it all down. But the difficulty's never terribly unreasonable. But it is challenging, much more so than even the latter levels of Space Megaforce. it has all these, big, colorful environments, lots of detail. And for, an early Genesis game, really, really impressive. Especially when you consider the top-down shooters from from the original Nintendo. I mean, this is, leagues above any of those games. That was his only competition when this game was released. There was no Super Nintendo at the time of the release of this game. And even when the Super Nintendo came out, it had a very, very difficult time with this genre. But at the same time, the genre was showing signs that it was dying out. So in a way, it ended up not really hurting the Super Nintendo that much, because the genre that that system was the weakest at was a genre that was no longer getting interest. Yeah, I hope at some point in time we see the Aleste games in some sort of collection. It would be nice to kind of get them all together. I mean, it would span multiple collections, obviously. There's a lot of Aleste games. All under different names and sort of a different series, but essentially made by the same company. They're really featuring similar gameplay. It's such a different musical choice too from the Star Soldier games. Actually matches the Genesis sound chip pretty well. Even though the Genesis is quite able to emulate the instruments that the music's trying to emulate itself, they still sound pretty reasonable. It sounds real meaty, I'm going to go inside after I destroyed everything outside. Seems like a safe idea. I do wish to see it had appeared on the controller graphics. I think it probably would have, found a better home there. Compile Ultimate games for the TurboGrafx and the Mega Drive. So it's kind of nice that both audiences could be satisfied with this kind of gameplay, or at least they could be supplied with it. Wow, these wild designs. That's so cool. And you can kind of arrange your options into different formations, depending on the situation where you needed them. The blue was any good. I thought I was just stuck with red in this one. Ah. Man, it's definitely a tough game. I don't know if I ever got all the way through this. Mission complete to return to base. Yeah, I also have a copy of Zero Link. I think I might pop that in next. Although I don't think that's an original card. I think that's a repro if I remember right. Because there's a European import, and at the time that I was buying these games, European imports were near impossible to come by. Nobody was buying those particular cards. Because PAL standard is 50 Hz, and you had to modify your console just to play them. But I think that one actually ran under, that one could run under 60 Hz. Although I think natively it's a 50 Hz game. Yeah, I'm gonna make it farther. Boy, I'm not doing too well. fire that guy that tiled your floor. Oh, it's all falling apart over here. Ugh. Ah, sorry. Wasn't paying attention there. Actually, hold on a minute. Okay. Oh boy, seizure warning. Some of these patterns have enemies going behind you. Oh, God. We've driven the enemy out of our territory. Our territory is just a bunch of blue squares. Surprised we're so attached to it. Blue is the shield, but I don't think I need the shield here. gives me a bit of paranoia. Or psychosis, depending on what region you live in, what the game is called on the TurboGrafx. It's called psychosis over here. I can't remember if it was paranoia or psychosis. Oh boy. Roll. Three. Oh. No time to switch the weapons, right? No, you're back. Hi. Welcome back. Oh, the kids. Oh, they're brats. I'm gonna bring them in the house again. I have the most well-behaved kids. No, you don't. Look at them. Oh, monsters. Sorry, that's always my favorite when I meet somebody new and invite them over. Back when I used to do that, you know, before the pandemic, and you know, they like brag that they had like the best kids or like the most well-behaved kids, and like, you know, 5 minutes into having them walk around the house, they're like grabbing everything off the shelf and yapping away and interrupting us. It's like, huh, well-behaved kids, huh? Well, your standards for well-behaved are much different than mine. And you know, I don't look at the kids. Kids are naturally curious. They just want to look at stuff and just be obnoxious overall. You know, that's kind of their job. But at the very least, I would love parents to recognize, like, yeah, you know, he's an independent mind. I do everything I say, especially when he's over in a new place. Knowing that he can get away with a little bit more. Because, like, you know, parents will generally not, you know, beat their kids over when they're at a guest house. You know, they can count on that knowledge of being a little bit more obnoxious than normal. So in a way, like all these game collections I have, I'm just like, gosh, can I even really have company anymore? I just have like all this like stuff that, you know, nobody used to care about. You know, it wasn't worth anything. You know, just, you know, some, you know, childish hobby from my past, and now these things are, you know, like skyrocket in value because, you know, people are more open to gaming now, and I was like, well, I'm not going to put this stuff like in a safe. I mean, I like to play this stuff too, so yeah, interesting how things change. I'm glad that the gaming populace as a whole has grown, and it's much more inclusive than it used to be. Still got a ways to go, obviously, but you know, now there's entire channels, entire game networks dedicated to just playing games. It's pretty amazing. Not something that I ever thought would have happened in my life. I kind of always thought gaming would just be like a niche hobby, but now it's pretty ubiquitous. I mean, everybody plays some sort of game, whether it just be something casual on their phone or something serious on a console, or even more serious, buying old consoles or playing old consoles. Ah, damn it. And even if you weren't born in this generation that played these games, gamers are now, at least curious about the gaming from this era. Which is great, I mean, a lot of people poured their heart and soul for these games, and they made some of the best forms of everything that we have out there. Unappreciated at the time because the game market was so small at the time. But now, people can appreciate the old game music and all the old sprites and all the old types of gameplay. It's nice. It's nice that it's come along that way. Yeah. Oh. You arrived at their main headquarters. Oh, good. Oh, I hope they have tapioca. That's my favorite. Yeah, speaking as an old guy, it's kind of one of the things I'm obliged to like after you reach a certain age. Still don't like oatmeal though. Yeah, I guess I'm not old enough yet. But now they sell like adult cereal, which I bought some of that Magic Spoon stuff, and it's actually pretty good. Even though I'm not a huge cereal fan. Although I got some inconsistent batches of the stuff, like I got like 2 boxes of that cereal, and it just, you can tell like the flavoring element didn't quite work out when they did the mixing. And so like all the cereal tasted like it's just this weird plain like chemical taste to it. And then when I bought another batch, all the cereal was fine. The QA isn't quite the same as it is on, those multi-million-dollar, cereals that you see out there. But I'd still recommend it. Especially if you like crunchy cereal, if you really like that deep kind of crunch. And that Magic Spoon stuff's pretty good. And don't worry, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I really just tried it because I saw it on another channel. So yeah, nobody's giving me any money for endorsing it. I said, this channel is a money loss. I mean, there's no money in it for me at all. Probably never will be. You know, with the rules always changing in all the streaming providers. You know. I mean, I used to be qualified for YouTube, and then they changed the rules so that I did become qualified. And then I was qualified in Twitch, and then they changed the rules. I'm just waiting for them to change the rules in Facebook Gaming so that even though I'm not qualified, I'll be even less qualified. Like, my videos have enough views to make money, just, you know, not enough big-time money. Right? I guess in a way they just pay for themselves. They don't generate real revenue, but real revenue to these streaming companies. You know, the Twitches and the YouTubes out there is like you know 5 million views for every video. I mean, to them that's the only kind of money that they really care about. You know, even 1 million views is not a big deal in the YouTube world anymore. And the number of followers you have to have or subscribers is like, it's some sort of ridiculous number in order for you know, YouTube to even care about what your opinion is. Because I know some of the other gaming channels are like 5 million subscribers, but you know, YouTube doesn't care about a paltry 5 million. You know, I mean, the same thing with Twitch. If you're just like a paltry 50,000 or 100,000, not enough for any of those companies to care. Facebook Gaming is just sort of trending upwards, so they have like lower requirements, but that'll change. Especially since Mixer completely folded, and they were trying to get people from the Mixer community into that community. I don't know how successful they were. Kind of hard to say. Well, it's so hard to start this stage with just a pea shooter. It really is. It can be done, but yeah, this may be the end of our journey until I play this a little bit more and get back into my groove, so that I can finish the entire game. But hopefully people see, you know, why. At least I thought it was a gem when it first came out, and you know, now that it's, you know, the copies are rare to find, you know, people are appreciating the game more. But yeah, and when it came out, people weren't really into this game. Not because the game was bad, just because, you know, the appetite for shmups was lower. You know, people wanted platform games and action games, because, you know, video games, you know, really started off with shmups, so it was an old genre. Yeah, I think Musha did appear on the Wii Virtual Console, which is weird. It's weird to think that, like, you know, Nintendo was still slow on releases with the Wii Virtual Console, but at least they release more than they do now. You know, it's really pathetic what they release on the Nintendo Online Shop, or as part of the Nintendo Online service. I mean, it's just a fraction of what they were doing on the Wii, and like now the Switch is getting close to outselling the Wii. I mean, it'll be Nintendo's most successful console of all time, probably within the fall. I think they'll sell enough systems within the fall to completely outsell the Wii. And you know, God, they were doing so much with the Wii, and it seems like they, as far as like retro gaming, they're not doing anywhere near as much. Thankfully, other companies are stepping up. You know, we had that Blizzard collection. We've had, you know, Konami release Castlevania and Contra. You know, Capcom has done their arcade stadium, so like other companies are stepping up, and Nintendo is, you know, not particularly doing much. You know, they had their arcade games handed off to Arcade Archives. Again, they have just a paltry amount of games on the Super Nintendo and Nintendo online service. there's rumors that they're going to be doing another system, but like they haven't even covered all the games on the systems that they have now. I don't even know what they would do now. Like N64 or Game Boy. Game Boy would make the most sense for them. You know, more simple emulation. Ah, damn it! And you know, lots of really good memorable games. Oh, God, I hate this thing. Without power-ups, this thing is so hard to fight. You can only get like 2 shots in. Ugh. I don't know if I'll get past this part without going back a level and or 2 and gaining more power. By this time, you're supposed to have, you know, completely full power for your ship. That's not doing enough damage. Yeah, and I don't even know who owns the rights to MUSHA anymore. I mean, it was originally published under Seismic. I mean, Sega has been publishing a lot of compile games, so maybe they have the back catalog to it. I don't know, Sega's one of those. It's such a strange company, Sega. They have like such a rich history of games. You know, they've been in the gaming industry for almost as long as well, actually, I think they've been in the gaming industry longer than Nintendo. But it's like they don't like really curate their old games at all. I mean, where are all those Saturn games as part of collections? You know? I mean, why don't I have like Shining in the Dark or Shining in the Holy Ark? Why don't I have that game to play? You know, why don't I have Dark Savior? It's like it's like they have like so many cool games, and they're just like, eh. You want to play Sonic? No, I don't want to play Sonic. Well, how about Yakuza? Oh, yeah, I want to play Yakuza. Alright, don't take that away. But everything else, it's like, hey, remember the... You know, remember, what were they doing? You know, Streets of Rage, they just recently released, but that really wasn't even made by them. You know, it's so sad. Nintendo, like, continuously updates their franchises and gives you reminders that the franchises exist. And Sega, who had just as good of a history, were like, I don't know, play Sonic and shut up. Yeah, you can tell, like, the Genesis actually wasn't my favorite Sega system. In fact, I really don't think it's necessarily like a great system. I was really more of a Saturn and a Dreamcast person. That's really where I started liking Sega. This era of Sega, the Genesis and Sega CD, really wasn't my thing. So yeah, I mean, you know, the Xbox 360, I mean, we got Radiant Silvergun really because of Microsoft, had nothing to do with Sega. And we got Guardian Heroes, again, nothing to do with Sega. Gunstar Heroes has had a couple of different releases. I guess it was on the Sega Genesis collection, you know, under really terrible emulation. So, you know, that's definitely not the way that you want to play that game. Unless it's the only way you have to play the game, then yeah, absolutely. Oh, God. Where you had another form. These missiles are floating around to taunt you. What a jerk. Oh, this game's so hard. Let's see how long we're going. Oh, yeah, we're playing for almost an hour. Okay, why don't we stop it there? And I think I'll just need to practice this game more in order to get to the end, because the ending is super cool. It's a really impressive level, especially when you consider this is like a very early cartridge. But yeah, again, if you have a chance to play Musha, Wii Virtual Consoles, like the last major release of Musha. Outside of that, there really hasn't been a lot of releases of Musha. I think there's some sites you can play it on, like on your browser, but that's sort of stupid. Outside of that, you know, again, I happen to have the cartridge because I bought a lot of inventory that, you know, back in, I think, '98, when one of the game stores around my area started closing stuff out. So I bought like a lot of their stuff, and God, I can't remember. I mean, this was well under $10. I can't remember how much I paid for it, and it was like, it sat on the shelf for a long time, never being rented, or having very few rentals. I feel sad for Musha, but yeah, now people like it, so thank goodness people recognize it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you at the next stream here in a couple minutes.